Well, I'm in Dalry with an animal behaviourist who specialises in dogs and parrots, and shortly I'll be speaking to Elaine Henley about her work. But first of all, let me introduce you to the star of the show. This is Milo. Step up. Go on, go on. Yeah, there we go. And go on, where's the other foot? Oh, he's having second thoughts. Let's try that again. This is Milo, he's 6. He's not keen on my hands, but you'll be speaking to him later on. We'll see if we can tease a few words out of him.
Now, as you know, Colin gets out and about every night showcasing the great and the good in Glasgow, even if the Glaswegian is barking.
See what you did there? See? Nice, nice. Because Colin is meeting Elaine Henley, a Glasgow-based pet clinical behaviourist. Colin, are you now quacking?
Hey.
There you go.
I'm not quite quacking, I'd say more squawking. I'm with Elaine Henley, who's an animal behaviourist and specialises in dogs and, as you can see, parrots. Now we have here, Elaine, Roy and Sparky. Tell me about Roy here.
Roy is a 26-year-old cag and he has lived with me for the past year. He came from, both of Sparky and Roy came from Birdline, Animal Rescue. And Roy was a mutilator. So before he came to live with me, What you saying, Sparky? What you saying?
Sparky's showing off there.
He's dancing. He was left in a garage for 3 years because his previous caregiver had died. And he came to me, a plucker. So with the last year, we've been working on his emotional well-being. We have been teaching him how to trust humans and basically just teaching him how to enjoy life again.
And what role does Birdline have to play in these two animals?
Well, Birdline, Sparky, I safe house for Birdline, and Sparky is one of their birds, and his previous owner had died. So he was looking for a new home, and then he came to me. So Birdline takes parrots in, and then they find safe houses for them, and they're fostered, and then they go to new homes.
Fantastic. Now, hopefully later in the show we'll see more from Sparky, Roy, and also Milo is above me. But for now, I think it's fair to say 2 birds and 1 stone. Sorry about that.
Hey, as we said earlier, Colin's spending the week finding out some pretty strange Glasgow stories as we approach Halloween. Now, it would be pretty difficult to find something a bit stranger than tonight. Colin, remind us where you are.
Well, Jennifer, I'm in Dalry with Elaine Henley, who's an animal behaviourist and specialises in dogs and parrots, as you can see, and the only one in Scotland, I believe, as well.
Yes, I'm the only registered clinical animal behaviourist in Scotland.
Now, what advice would you give to people who perhaps are considering having someone like Sparky as a pet?
I would say parrots can be the most amazing pets, but you have to do your homework because they can be very, very difficult. They have the intelligence of a 5-year-old human child and the emotional intelligence of a 2-year-old. They can do, as you can look around, they can do a lot of damage. So they're high maintenance. They don't cope easily with being left for long periods on their own. And they can be very vocal. One of the reasons why Sparky was seeking a new home was because he kept making fire alarm sounds repeatedly and repeatedly, and that can get people very wary. A lot of people imagine, particularly with the African greys, that they're all going to speak long sentences, and the actual fact is a lot of them don't speak very often. They're also very, very shy, and everything new is a parrot killer to them. So quite often they won't speak a lot in public. They will speak when you go into another room. They'll do flock calls to try and gather the flock back together. Another thing about parrots is that they can work out to be very expensive. There's very few avian vets in Scotland, and some of those can be quite costly. So if you can't afford the vet fees, don't get a parrot.
And on to that, you mentioned earlier very briefly about people who already have parrots. What advice would you give them if they suspect their bird is ill, for example?
If you suspect that your parrot is ill, it's not eating, it's lying at the bottom of its cage, it's not performing normal behaviours, then the only thing you can do is gather it up and get it straight to an emergency vet. To delay could cost your parrot their life. Because they're prey in the wild, they hide any signs of illnesses extremely well, so it's only when they're really, really ill that you'll actually notice it. By that time, it can be too late. So the advice has to be, if you suspect they're ill, get them to their vet.
And very briefly, why would you perhaps encourage people to, if they want to get a parrot, to seek out more information?
Yep, join Facebook groups, there's Yahoo groups, find out as much information as you can about having this perpetual toddler in your home.
Fantastic. That's Elaine Henley, animal behaviourist, specialised in dogs and parrots, and who knows, maybe I'll get one.